Hello, everyone. Welcome to yoga today. We're going to get started on our mats and um, we're going to have a pretty relaxed and kind of comforting flow today. So, doing a lot of moves that are familiar and natural and just flowing in and out. So, you can join me on your mat. We'll go ahead and just get started in a nice, comfortable seat here. I invite you to just kind of find a spot on your mat. You can be authentic without forcing any postures, any breath. This might look like a different pose than what I'm doing right now. Maybe you want to lay on your back. We'll take the first few moments of class to get present in the moment and just focus on being here. But wherever you are, feeling your body connect to the ground, whether it be your hips, your ankles, maybe if you're on your back, feeling your back grounding into the earth. And I invite you here to focus on something in the environment. It can be maybe the light shining through your window. Maybe you notice the noises in the room or in the house. Maybe it's just the temperature of the air. Bring some awareness to something that makes you feel present in your space. Connecting with your environment is a really easy mindfulness practice that you can enjoy at any time throughout the day. Take that thing that you're focusing on and start to just give it some adjectives, descriptor words. Maybe notice your thoughts about what you're thinking of without judgment, letting them just flow freely. But wherever you are, let's bring one hand to our chest, one hand to our belly. We're going to start to focus on the breath here just a little bit more. Good. As you inhale, maybe noticing your diaphragm and pelvic floor drop down. Your belly fills. Good. And then exhale. Everything comes back up and in. Good. Take another inhale here. See if you can fill your lungs a little bit more. And exhale, letting the ribs fall back inward. Good. On your next inhale, feeling the chest rise. And exhale. Maybe you open your mouth and sigh it out here. Let's check into the features of our face. Maybe you bring your hands up to your jaw and start to massage out the muscles of your face. Common areas that we keep tension in our body are in the jaw, in the forehead. See if you can let any of those lines go. And also in our shoulders. If you want, you can bring your hands to your shoulders. Just start to kind of give yourself a little massage here. Good. Start to maybe roll the shoulders up towards your ears and then down your back. Good. Wherever you are, let's bring both knees in towards our chest and come down onto our back. Good. Your knees can stay bent here. And then just slowly start to let them fall from one side to the other. Maybe your knees fall at the same time. Maybe they fall and then the other one follows. Good. Maybe just focusing here on internally and externally rotating the hips. Or maybe you want to get a little bit more lumbar movement in here. So getting some low back rotation. Good. When you get back to center, plant your feet into the mat and your knees are going to face up towards the ceiling. Good. Connecting with our breath again. We'll inhale as we raise our arms overhead. Good. Exhale, bringing your hands back down to the hips, letting the air just flow in and out. Move your arms at your own pace. Good. Notice that when we keep our arms nice and straight, bringing them overhead, it makes our inhale almost effortless. We're using this arm movement as a way to ease the ability to increase our space within our thoracic area. Good, and then slowly bring both knees in toward your chest. Give yourself a tight squeeze here. And then start to rock and roll up the length of your mat. Maybe take a few rocks, massaging out your back. Good, and then when you're ready, cross the ankles. Come over to your hands and your knees, coming into a tabletop position here. Good, we're gonna take a few cat-cows here. So same movement. As you inhale, drop the belly and fill up the lungs. You can look forward. And then exhale, rounds the back, tuck your chin underneath. Good, inhale, drop that belly and look up. Good, exhale, round the back. Good, inhale, drop the belly, look up. And exhale. Good, one more time, inhale, drop the belly. And then exhale, send your hips to your heels, coming into your child's pose. Good, settle in here just for a few moments, noticing your breath in this position. Maybe feeling your fingertips reach towards the top of the mat. Feeling the length in the spine. Maybe feeling the weight of your forehead grounding into the mat. Good. Take one more deep inhale here. Exhale, open your mouth and sigh it out. On your next inhale, bring your shoulders back over your wrists. Good. Tuck your back toes underneath you. And then we're going to find our first downward facing dog. But before we do that, let's wake up the core, lifting the knees off just an inch. Good. Spread your fingertips wide here. Really feel each knuckle and each fingertip grounding in. Good. Long neutral spine. Good. On your next exhale, your hips are going to go high for your first downward facing dog. Take some time here to pedal out both feet, bending into one knee and then the other. Good. Find length in your spine as you let your head reach towards the ground. Maybe you shake your head yes and no. Good. And then starting to firm up that foundation, find your strong fingertips nice and wide. Your heels reach down to the mat. And then tuck your tailbone up towards the sky. Good. On your next inhale, bring your shoulders over your wrist for a high plank pose. Good. You can stay here with your legs lifted, or exhale, drop the knees, untuck your toes. We'll slowly lower down to the mat on our exhale. Inhale, presses through the fingertips. Reach your chest forward. And then exhale, tuck your back toes under. You can come back to your tabletop and then press up to your downward facing dog. Good. Always an option to make that chaturanga flow your own. I gave blood today, so I'm not going to do any heavy lifting. So I'm going to be taking the knees down approach just to soften my load a little bit, but feel free to make it your own. Make it hard if you would like a challenge. But on your next inhale, the right toes are going to go high up to the ceiling, three-legged dog. Exhale, bring your foot between your hands. Drop the back knee, hook your thumbs and rise. Good, you're coming into this deep hip flexor stretch. You can bring your hands down to your hips. Good, I like to stay here and just kind of feel the tilt in my pelvis. So maybe I'm tilted a bit forward. Maybe I want to add in a posterior tilt to open up that left hip flexor. Good, inhale, arms come overhead. Exhale, plant the hands, step both feet to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift, flat back. Your hands can come to your shins, just lightly placing them. Neutral spine here. On your next exhale, forward fold. Inhale, arms come overhead. Long body stretch, mountain pose here, arms overhead. Exhale, hands through this heart center. Good, reach the arms long. Inhale as your arms rise, and then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step both feet back. We'll move through our chaturanga flow. So inhale, high plank pose. Exhale, drop it low. Inhale, chest forward. Exhale, hips go high for downward facing dog. Taking that on the other side, left toes go long. Exhale, step it through. Drop that back knee, hook your thumbs, inhale as you rise, bring the arms overhead. Exhale, your hands can come down to the hips. We'll find this stretch here just for a few breaths. So deep stretch of the right hip flexors, opening up the front of that hip. On your next inhale, your arms come overhead. Exhale, plant the hands, step your right toes forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold down. Inhale, extended mountain pose, arms overhead. Exhale, hands through to heart center. Good, inhale, reach it long. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Reach the crown of the head forward. Exhale, plant the hands, step your toes back, and move through your flow. Exhale brings you down to the mat. Keep those elbows in at your sides. Inhale, shine your chest forward. Exhale, push yourself back up to a downward facing dog. Good, slowly start to walk your toes up to your hands, coming to a forward fold at the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift, and then exhale, bring your hips down, coming into your chair pose. Arms come overhead. Good, so you're sinking the hips low, deep bend in the knees, deep bend in the hips. Reach those arms long. Good, check into your ribs here. See if you can bring your lower ribs together, engaging that core. Good, exhale, hands through to heart center, forward fold. Good, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step your left toes back. Bring your left knee down to the mat. Inhale, arms come overhead. Good, exhale. Start to bring your hips back just a little bit in space. We're gonna take a half splits here, so you can reach your right toes out in front of you. Your hands can come down to the mat. And then start to pull that right hip back in space. So you're finding almost this little half splits. I like to keep my hips over my supporting knee. And then you can always play around with pointing or flexing the toes, seeing what that adds in for this stretch for you. Good, we're gonna move dynamically here now. So you're going to inhale, bend the front knee, reach your arms overhead. Exhale, plant the hands, send your hips back to that half splits. Good, inhale, arms come overhead, deep stretch of the hip flexor. Exhale, hands down, send those hips back. Take this just a few more times, moving at your own pace. Good, next time you come into half splits, plant your hands down, tuck your back toes underneath you, and then you're gonna step your right toes back behind you, coming into a three-legged dog. So we're kind of reversing here. Good, exhale, toes down, high plank pose, and then move through your flow. Good, slowly start to walk your toes up to the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, sink your hips low, arms come high for your chair pose. Good, exhale, hands through to heart center, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step your right toes back. Drop that back knee, and then inhale, arms come overhead. Good. Exhale, sink those hips back. Your hands can come to the mat. And then you might need to reposition your foot so that this is a little bit easier. So let's find that half splits on the other side. Good. So one side might look different than the other. So play around with the idea that, you know, not everything can be perfect or symmetrical. Good. When you're ready, we're going to inhale, coming into that deep hip flexor stretch. Arms come overhead. Exhale, hands down. Reach that hip back. Good. Inhale, arms overhead. Exhale, hips go back. Take this a few times at your own pace. Good. Next time you come back to your half splits, option to hold it here for a quick moment. Then walk your hands out in front. Tuck your back toes under. And step your left toes high for your three-legged dog. Good. Take a deep inhale here. Exhale, both toes to the mat. High plank pose, and then move through your flow. But on your next inhale, right toes are gonna go high. Exhale, step your right foot through. Keep that back knee lifted and inhale, arms come overhead for your crescent lunge. Good, so your back leg is nice and strong. Deep bend in that front knee. Your heel might be lifted in the back. And then square off those hips so they're both facing forward. Good, check into your low back. See if you're falling into kind of a lumbar lordosis, lumbar curve. See if you can bring that in and reach the arms overhead. Good, slowly swivel that back heel down, coming into your warrior two. Right toes are forward, fingertips reaching long. And then sink your hips low, squaring off your shoulders on top of your hips. Good, you might need to move that front foot forward to really get deep into this pose. Good, inhale, reverse your warrior, right fingertips high. Exhale, right forearm to right knee. Left fingertips can reach up, or you can reach them overhead. So you make a long line from fingertips to toes. Side angle pose here. Good, inhale will bring you back up to your warrior two. Exhale, reverse the warrior. Sorry, I meant inhale, but exhale, windmill your arms down to frame that front foot. And then step your left toes forward, coming into a forward fold at the front of your mat. Good, once you get there, inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, sink the hips low, arms come high, coming into your chair pose. So fingertips are gonna reach long. Exhale, bring your hands through to heart center. And we're gonna twist over to the right. So left elbow outside of right knee. It's okay if you don't make that connection, just find that twist with the ribs rotating around the spine. Good, take one more deep breath here. Exhale, come back to center and forward fold. Good, inhale, arms are gonna come all the way overhead. Good, once you get there, grab hold of your left wrist with your right hand. We're gonna take a side body stretch. Your feet can come to touch. And then just gently pull that left hand over to the right. Sending your hips out to the left. Good, inhale, come back up to center. We'll take that on the other side, right? Fingertips are reaching over to the left this time. Good, come back to center on an inhale. Then exhale, forward fold. Place your hands on the mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step your toes back. Move through your flow. Always an option to skip your flow and just meet us in downward facing dog. Good, let's take that on the other side. Left toes go long, three-legged dog. Exhale, step that left foot between your hands. Keep that back leg nice and strong, straight to the back. Inhale, arms come overhead. Good, crescent lunge here. Check back into that low back. Good, pull the back of the right knee up towards the ceiling to really strengthen that back leg. Good, take an inhale here. Exhale opens you up for your warrior two. So roll that back heel down. Good, maybe widen your stance. Good, take a deep inhale here. Exhale, relax the shoulders. Good, inhale, reverse your warrior. Left fingertips high. Exhale, left forearm to left knee. Side angle pose on the other side. Good, feeling nice and strong here. Good, inhale brings you back up to center. Warrior two. Inhale, reverse your warrior. Exhale, windmill the arms down to the mat. Frame that front foot. Step your right toes forward. Good, inhale, halfway lift here. Exhale, brings you into your chair pose. Good, arms come high overhead. See if you can sink those hips just a little bit lower. And then exhale, hands through to heart center. We're twisting over to the left this time. Good, take one more deep breath here. Exhale, come back to center and forward fold. Place your hands on the mat. Send your hips up high. Let's separate the feet about hips width distance. And then grab hold of opposite hand to opposite elbow and just let your head hang nice and heavy here. Maybe you find some movement, swaying from side to side. Maybe you unclench your jaw in this position. Noticing what effect that has. Good, and then when you're ready, you'll come back to center. Toes will touch at the top of your mat. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, plant the hands, step both toes back to your high plank pose. Good, so we're gonna come down onto our forearms for a quick forearm plank. And see if you can hold this here for maybe about 8 breaths. Sometimes I like to focus on breaths rather than time. Because then that way you're still breathing, you're not holding. Good, halfway there. If you come out, just come right back in. Good, on your next exhale, lower the hips down. We'll come into our Sphinx pose. So automatically just stretching out those abs that we just worked. Your forearms are facing down onto the mat. Your palms can face down as well. Make sure your shoulders are directly over your elbow in this position. And then just enjoy this passive back extension and lower abdominal stretch. Good, we'll slowly lower all the way down. So we're coming onto our belly. And then bring your left hand out to the side. Your right hand is still underneath your right shoulder. And then press through that right hand so that you come into a shoulder opener. Your right toes can reach behind you. You can rest your head on the mat. Good, so you should really feel us stretching the chest here. Good, when you're ready, slowly come back onto your belly. And then we'll take that on the other side. So right fingertips go long, press through that left hand, and then come into that opener on the other side. Good, slowly come out of it on that side. Hands come underneath your shoulders, and then press yourself back to a child's pose. Take a few moments to just breathe in this position. Good, we'll take a triceps stretch here. So bring your hands to touch, your palms to touch in front of you. And then you're gonna bring that prayer back behind your head. Good option here too, if having that hand touch is a little inaccessible. Let's just bring the hands to the shoulders. Good, slowly bring your hands back out in front of you, and then walk your hands back to your hips. Good, we're gonna slowly just roll off onto one side. Let's bring both feet out in front of us tonight. Coming into a bound angle pose. So bring your feet to touch. And then your knees are gonna come out wide, so you're kind of sitting in this ring position. And then what I'll have you do is first extend the spine up. So bring your arms overhead. Take an inhale here. And then exhale, bring your hands to your hips and see if you can get this forward fold to start from a hinge at the hips. Your hands can come out in front of you when you're ready. And then you can let the forward fold come from the rest of your spine. So letting your head just hang heavy. Good. Slowly walk your hands back underneath you. Bring your right knee in, send your left leg along. And then let's bring the right ankle over the left knee for a spinal twist here. Right hand comes behind the hips. You can either use your left arm to grab hold of this knee, or you can use it as a lever, pressing your left elbow on the outside of the right knee. Both hips are still planted here. So if you need to come out of this a little bit, just so that your hips can stay planted, that's totally fine. Good. Slowly come out of that counter twist to the left. And then let your right foot go long. Left ankle crosses over the right knee. Good. Find your twist on the other side. And continue to breathe here in this twist. Maybe noticing that with each exhale, it brings you further into the twist. And when you're twisting, imagine your ribs are rotating around the spine. Take one more inhale here. And then exhale, counter twist to the other side. Good. Bring both knees in towards your chest. Take any other poses that I might not have brought you through. So maybe happy baby, maybe a bridge pose. Take about 1 to 2 minutes here to really move in a way that suits you. I think it's important to have those moments in a yoga class where you can choose what you want to do so that you can feel like you have some sense of independence and creativity with this practice. But whenever you have found enough movement, you can start to find your final resting posture. That can look different for many people. But if you're trying to find one that gives you full rest, I invite you to extend your legs out long, coming onto your back. Good. Your hands can come to rest at both sides. Maybe your palms face up towards the ceiling, receiving in the energy of today's class. And then let's check back into those places where we hold tension. See if we can let them go here. Let's check into the forehead first. Let go of any lines or wrinkles. Let your eyebrows relax. Maybe you feel the crown of your head shift back as it relaxes into the mat. Good, and then check into your jaw. Let all of the tension go. And then last but not least, your shoulders and your neck. Notice, are they tight or are they loose? If you feel any holding, see if you can let that go. Good, and then as you're ready, know that you can always stay here if you would like. And I'll start to wake you back up, coming out of this final resting pose. We'll start by wiggling the toes and the fingers, bringing some movement back into our extremities. And then exhale all the air out of your body. And match that with a deep inhale as you bring your arms overhead for a long body stretch. Exhale, bring everything back in, pulling yourself into a tight ball. Bring your knees in towards your chest. Maybe wrapping your arms around your shins. And then slowly and gently pressing yourself back up to a comfortable seat. Take your time to get there. And when you get there, find a comfortable seat on your mat. Let your eyes close. Your hands can come to your knees, letting your hands be heavy. But take a deep inhale, bring the shoulders up towards the ears. Exhale, open the mouth, side out, let the shoulders come far away. Good, you can bring your hands to your heart center. And just bring in some gratitude and compassion for yourself for completing this yoga class on your mat and letting your mind be present in the moment. Namaste, everyone. Thank you all for joining me. If you liked this class, please like the video, and I hope to see you again soon for another yoga class with me. Thanks.